Dry all of my tears away. Turn my midnight today. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Been light on. Thank you, Lord. Body rocking with pain. But thank you, Lord. Yeah. I won't complain. And dry all of your tears. You'll make my thing today. Yeah. Yes, sir. In Gideon, in Judges chapter 6, verse 12, you'll find these words right here. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty man, a warrior of valor." "Pardon me, my Lord," Gideon replied, "but if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about? When they said, 'Did the Lord bring us up out of Egypt?' But now the Lord has abandoned us and has given us into the hands of the Midianites." The Lord turned to him and said, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of the hands of the Midians, out of the Midians' hand. I am not sending you." I am not sending you. "Pardon me, my Lord," Gideon replied, "but how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family." And the Lord answered, "I will be with you, and you will strike down the Midianites. Leave now alive." Wow. Turn to your neighbor, and all the young folk grab your partner's hand, look them right in the eye, and tell them you can defeat your bully. Tell them one more time, you looked at them, you must be the bully. You didn't look at them, look right there, find some of them right there. Look at them and say, you can defeat your bully. I just want some news for y'all that even the bully got a bully. Amen. And that oftentimes the reason why somebody is bullying you because they feel bullied somewhere. And because they feel bullied somewhere, they often want you to feel like they feel. They often want you to feel the intimidation that they feel somewhere else. And all of us have bullies, and all of us have been bullied by something or another. Can I help you out and tell you the truth that even though I'm old, but I still had a bully when I was young, just like you. I can remember I was in the fourth grade. In the fourth grade, we used to be in Boy Scout. And in Boy Scout, we used to have to wait for Mr. P to come after school to take us over to Salone Church. At the Salone Church is where we had our Boy Scout meet. And while we was waiting on Mr. P one Thursday, waiting on him to pick us up, well, you left a bunch of boys together, and Mr. P is late, and then all of a sudden we're getting restless and people wanted to do something. That was a new kid that showed up to the school. He was Pat Villarreal. Pat Villarreal, he was a white boy, first little white boy hanging in our class, Pat Villarreal, but he wasn't that white boy that was scared. He was that intimidating white boy. He was that white boy was 100 pounds, and actually, for some reason, Mr. Pat Villarreal decided he wanted to pick on me. I wasn't nothing but a buck, not even a buck. I probably was about a good 40 pounds, 50 pounds, and he was in the fourth grade, big boy, big white boy, ain't scared of none of you. Yeah, big white boy, big Pat Villarreal wasn't scared of nothing. Big Pat Villarreal took put it on the dime out there, any one of y'all, and even though it's all of y'all better not mess with me. Pat Villarreal, nobody wanted to fight Pat Villarreal because he was bigger than all of us. He weighed more, he was taller than all of us, but we was all hanging out. And Cornelius Flynn, he wanted somebody to fight Pat Villarreal. He normally to be bullied, but he was scared of the, he was scared of the big white boy, so he didn't want to fight him. And so he wanted somebody to test to see whether or not Pat Villarreal had some fight in him. And so what he did was pick the fight between me and Pat Villarreal. I told Pat Villarreal, I don't want to fight you, man. Leave me alone. I ain't up for this fight. Leave me alone. He the one started it. Mess with him. Why are you trying to fight me? I weigh less than anybody in this circle right here, and you trying to pick on me. Let me tell you right here, Pat Villarreal decided he was going to fight me anyway. I was left with no choice but to fight Pat Villarreal. I told him that they told me not to fight at school. I told him that I was going to get a whooping if I fought at school. When I got home, I was going to get another whooping. But Pat Villarreal decided he was going to fight me anyway. And Pat Villarreal pushed me to the limit. And Pat Villarreal found out that in the lightweight there was a heavy punch. And I hit Pat Villarreal, cut his eye, not yet cut his eye, hit him so hard he fell, hit the ground, bumped his head on the rock, got up and decided he never wanted to fight me again. All I'm trying to tell you, we all have bullied. I was scared of Pat Villarreal. I was scared with good reason. He was bigger than me, he was taller than me, he was heavier than me, he was one of them crazy white boys. Not the little nice ones y'all know. I'm talking about the one on the edge. I'm talking about the one looked like he just scripted up out of that trailer park and he was ready to fight any and everybody for any and every reason because he had the same issues I had, but the different one, he had a different color skin, but nevertheless he still had problems. And so Pat Villarreal was the first bully I met. And Pastor Hightower, I learned real early that if you face your bully and fight your bully, you're guaranteed possibly to beat your bully. Because I discovered something about bullying and people that bully you, that oftentimes the reason they bully you because they're somebody in here going to get it in this room. Watch this right here. And so when we come to our text today, Gideon is being bullied. He's being bullied by several people and you will never lie. We talk about the Mennonites that are bullying him. When you got a bully, when the bully is always trying to take that which belongs to you. The text opened up and said the bully had took their house. The bully he took his pets. Now check it in the text. The text said the bully was taking his lunch and his food when he went to school, that he was taking everything he had. In the text said the bully said he was taking everything for him, taking his resources, taking his money, taking everything from him. And so he was being bullied by the Midianites, and the Midianites were taking everything he had. And so one day Gideon decided that I'm not going to let him take everything. So he decided to get him a handful of wheat. He decided to get him some cake, some bread. That's more related, but he decided he was going to hide his honey bun. He decided he was going to hide his roasted bean bones. He decided that he was going to keep his cupcakes, and he took his cupcakes and he was trying to hide them in the wine press because he was thinking that the bully would look for his cupcakes in the wine press. So he was thrusting wheat in the wine press. He was hiding his wheat. He was hiding his bread. He was hiding his cupcake. So the bully wanted to take his cupcake because he was tired of going to school and coming back home. He was tired when he got home, wasn't nothing to eat because the bully was taking everything from him. And so he decided, I won't take my lunch with me. I'm going to hide my lunch in the wine press. When I get back, at least when I get home, I can get something. Everyone has a bully. That even the bully has a bully. And we discovered in the text that he was being bullied. Ever been bullied before? Ever been bullied at school? Ever been cyber bullied?
No.
Facebook? I know you've been Facebook bullied. I've been Facebook bullied. I see some of them people fighting on Facebook. I'm scared. I don't even know who they are, but I be saying, make sure I don't never go to their neighborhood. They fight too hard. I'm talking about women fighting too now. I'm like, woo! Don't never let me see her. You ever been bullied? And you really try to deal with being bullied because you don't know where all this started from. It really had nothing to do with you. It started with some more people that didn't do what they were supposed to do. And you ended up somewhere where you was I don't know how I ended up in this neighborhood. I don't know why my parents decided to move here. I don't know why they changed my school. At the other school, they was nicer. At the other school, they didn't do all this fight. And they didn't move me in the middle of Chirac. I don't know where I'm going to do all this. Folk fighting in this school, jumping on me. I can't even focus. They talking about come home and bring good grades. They didn't understand. It's just good to be able to get home. I'm being bothered. I can't focus. It ain't the fact that I need glasses. It ain't the fact that I'm not focused. I don't have ADD. I have BETHANY. I got bullets bullying me. My real issue ain't the fact that I don't want to learn. I can't focus because I'm learning about when I leave school what I'm going to have to deal with. Bullet. And Gideon was being bullied. Been bullied by 7 folk, and I really blow your mind when some of the people were bullying. I'll tell you the first thing, he had to first deal with the bully, the personal bully. That he allowed himself to become to himself. Because many of us don't really deal with the real bully, because there's a bully on the inside of all of us that tell us to be scared. And tell us to be afraid. And to tell us to hide our resources, and to hide our potentials, and hide our ability. Sometimes you call it shy, but shy is one of the worst bullies that our young people would ever see, because what shy says is that you don't have to be who you are or the capability of what you're capable of. So the first bully you meet is not outside of you, but it's on the inside of you. And shy tells you to sit down, shut down, hide out, don't say, don't show, don't expose, don't let nobody see who you're capable of being. Shy tells you not to sing up, even though you got a gift to sing. Shy tells you not to play up, even though you got a gift to play. Shy tells you not to show up, even though you can outshow anybody else. And so shy is the first bully, and that ain't an external bully, that's an internal bully. And I just want to tell you today, you ought to get really and jump on shy today. Jump all over him and tell him I ain't scared. You allow my friends to get in front of me. You allow people with less giftedness and less ability and less capability. You allow the people that really didn't have the real purpose in mind to allow them to get in front of me. And the only reason I'm not in their place is not because I wasn't capable. It was because I was too shy. And shy been bullying too many of our children. It has lessened their Can I tell you another bully is low self-esteem. And I want to tell you, if you're young, it's not your fault. Because when you arrive here, it becomes the responsibility of parents and community and people around you to breathe in you a confidence in terms of who you are and the potential of what you have. One more time, let me leave you alone in here. Listen here. Low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-value. You don't feel as you are as important as anyone else, but you are. You don't understand the greatness that is in you. I don't know. I know this outdated, amputated, but I think they brought this commercial back, and that commercial was about that little boy. And when that little boy was standing up tall next to that tall Olympian, one of the things that the little boy says in here, one of these days, I'm going to be big too. One of these days, I'm going to win too. One of these days, I'm going to be capable too. But I need to keep drinking my milk, and if I drink my milk going to make me strong enough, and sooner or later, I'll be able to compete at your level. Somebody in here needs to drop in our children some milk of the word that reminds them of who they are, that they are royal priests, they are holy generation. Need to remind them that they're more than conquerors. Need to remind them they can do all things through Christ that strengthen them. Need to remind them that God has chosen you and predestined you for great things, and eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what great things the Lord have in store for you. Somebody better meet him, because that young Olympian that's on his way to running at Olympia, it ain't all about competing on the field. It's not about being whether or not you can compete with the attitude and the other people that's feeling alongside of him that's going to attempt to intimidate him, to make sure that he don't run the best in his race. I don't have all day with them, and I know I don't, so I got to move real fast. I dropped you too, and you know that's some many more in terms of what really attacks and bully us and keep us from our full potential. But the good news is that there's a God that knows watch this in the text, watch this in the text. The angel shows up to Gideon because nobody else is capable of being able to speak in his life. Nobody else is able to pour in his life the confidence and the strength that he needs to face his bullet. His daddy is scared. Y'all been catching it here. His mama is scared. His family is scared. The people in his community is scared. They so scared that not only did they bow down and give up their lunch, they gave up their horses, they gave up their cattle, they gave up everything. That when the middle of the night marched on them, they said, there ain't no fight here, baby. You can have it hard. I live poor. I live below my expectation. No fight at all from their family. And because of that, they had now had the knowledge that they didn't have the real God. They have now turned to a false God. And they started worshiping Baal. Matter of fact, that was the first problem they made. They left the real God that could help them, got a fake God that could help them, and when trouble came, they didn't have any help for them. Yeah, and because they didn't have any help, they couldn't help their children. Because they didn't have any help, they couldn't pull their children up because they was as down as much as their children was down. There was no help within his family to breathe in him or to give him confidence. So God has to reach outside of his family and send somebody to help him know and understand who God wanted him to be. God shows up to Gideon. He's hiding. He's scared. He's running. And with Gideon, he says to him, thou mighty man of valor. Gideon looked around and told him, I know. I've been running all my life. What you mean? I see that today. Now, I don't know why. God sent Pat Billy Real, that big man in that school today. But maybe he was trying to teach me something. There's more in you than you think. There's a bigger punch. There's a bigger fight in you than you think. There's more courage and confidence in you think. And the sad thing is that sometimes God has allowed us to get our back against the wall before God can get out of us what's really in us. Sometimes God got to let people push us down so we can get mad enough to stand back up. Sometimes God has to let them press on us so we can press back. And somebody in this room, and I know you tired of the bullet. You tired of giving up your lunch money. You tired of giving up your cupcakes. You tired of them skipping you in line. You tired of them taking your iPads. You tired of them taking your game. You tired of taking your games. You tired of them borrowing stuff. Ain't bringing it back. You tired of them always ushering themselves in the middle of your situation. You tired of them taking your girlfriends. You tired of them. Yeah, you tired of all of that. But let me tell you, they're going to keep doing all of that unless you allow God to push you back when they push you. And that's what God was doing. He pushed back. He showed up and he said to Gideon, now I ain't man back. Gideon said, man, I don't know who you talking about, but I know he ain't talking about me, and I know he ain't talking about fighting these Middlenites. Wrong one. But let me talk to the parents about the power of words. And I'm going to exit out here. The power of words can change how your sons and daughters look at themselves. The power of words that are spoken at the right time, addressed and spoken in the right voice, can change a young man or young lady's mind about how they feel about themselves. God didn't do no hocus pocus. He just showed up and declared he was who he always was. He just didn't know he was. And the problem that many of us struggle is that we don't know who we are. And the reason we don't know because my daddy didn't know who he is. And my mama didn't know, and my family didn't know. Because they're calling me stuff that I ain't even. Matter of fact, they're doing more attacking on me and calling me. My mama mad at my daddy because they went through a divorce, and now I got to be who my daddy was. My daddy mad at my mom because she's broken hearted about her, and now she calls me who she is. And now I'm trying to figure out where do I deal with all of this stuff, and how do I handle all this stuff, and how do I really come out of this stuff and be able to embrace both of them, and at the same time allow myself to be who I am. Words. Let me leave you alone. I gotta leave you out of here. Watch this here. Gideon had three bullies that he had to deal with. And I'm going to do watch this. One, he had his own personal bully.
Yes.
Two, he had family bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when you hear him saying, I'm the least in my family.
Yes.
Where do you think he got that from?
His family.
You ain't no good. Your dad ain't no good. You ain't gonna be nothing like your dad. Now you know my dad ain't nothing, so now you're gonna compare me to nothing? Now you thought I was supposed to, that wasn't supposed to affect me when I was young, but you got to remember you are the one that's planting the imprints of my heart and my mind in terms of myself, because I was giving you the courage to encourage, to nourish, and take care. And if the one that is encouraging, nourishing, and taking care of me, and always laboring me, and calling me, and always belittling me, and always talking me down, then what I expect from other folk is always less than what you get. So the real bully I found first was in myself, and I couldn't really help myself at a certain age. I just didn't know how to handle some of this stuff. But if my parents had not bullied me, if my family had not bullied me, then I wouldn't feel that I was the least. And that's what he said. I'm the least of all of my father's children. But watch this on top of this. He said, but my father's nothing. Did you hear that in the text? He said, my father's nothing. And I'm the least of the nothing that is over my father. I almost in the world of depression. I know y'all won't know these other ones. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you're gonna be something. You got it? But that's not the only bully that he had, but he also had a bully that the people was bullying. Because when God finally got him to really want to be who he was called to be, and to stand strong, and to really be the person that God called him to be, and really have him to stand up and really just rise up within himself and have confidence in himself, that the first thing God says to him, you got to get rid of your father's sign. Pastor, thank you for your confirmation. I just heard you whispering that all through my sermon. I thought you was trying to preach my sermon. You got to get rid of some of these signs. And what his father had put up was signs that was not profitable or helpful in terms of moving his family in the direction of God, or moving his son into being the man that he needed to be. He gave him false signs. Baal is a false sign. It was a false god. And they had put him on the totem pole, put him up there, had him high in the neighborhood, hanging out as a sign of prosperity, as a sign of peace, as a sign of hope, as a sign of being able to get you out. Let me help you out right here. We do it all the time. Tell our children, just get an education and you're going to make it. Just an education will not allow you to. But God and education will give you more than that. I'm just trying to help you in here. We get a false sign all the time. Just get a good job. But many of us in here got good jobs, and we still in the red, and we still in there. We still owe because a good job without God really won't. We get false signs all the time. Just be a good person. But it's too many of us in here talking about, I've been good, but I've been bullied. Sometimes good gets you bullied. So I need good and God. You got to get false signs, and oftentimes we give our sons and daughters false signs in terms of how to make it, and how to come up, and how to get out, and how to become better than what they are. But we don't give them a complete picture, because any picture that leaves God out is not a complete picture. I'm thinking, he was being bullied by the community. Because when he decided that he was going to do what God says, and tear down those false signs, and start looking for the real signs of God and the real things that God was telling him to do, that when he tore down those false signs, the community got mad, they got angry, and they came looking for him. But I got to give it to his daddy on this one. You know, every now and then, parents ain't perfect, but parents will come through when you really need it. Parents will stand up for you when they really need it. And don't be mad at them because they didn't breathe in you that wasn't breathed in them, because oftentimes they're living in third and second generation of generations cursing and generations bad habits and generations of bad things. And the reason why they don't know how to give you something is because it wasn't given to them. And watch it. But Josiah says right here, Joash finally says, no, leave my son alone. If Baal so bad, then let Baal fight him for his life. Yeah, there's somebody in here don't know why I just hollered that, because when you go to tear down the false signs, there's always somebody that's trying to attack you from removing false signs that don't really work and don't really help and doesn't really give our children confidence. Tear down those false signs and give our children the real sign of what's going to really give them the help they need to fight the bullies they're dealing with. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. The last bully is the bully of popularity. You know, the bully of popularity is that there's a need in you and I always for people to love us, to embrace us, and for people to be around us, and that what we've learned to do is to believe that we are doing well and we are okay if we got a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And if a lot of people like us. Matter of fact, some of us go and talk about how many likes you have on Facebook, even though the person don't even have never met you. How do they really like you? Some of us talk about how many Twitter and people are following us on Twitter, but the problem is that they've never been where you are. They don't even know who you is. They don't know what you're dealing with. They don't know what you're going through, but yet they're following you because they have the same need that you need, and that is for somebody to need them. And so therefore we're talking about how many followers I have on Twitter, how many people on Periscope checking me out, but the problem is they're checking you out, but they're not checking the real you out. They don't understand that you got a bully dog in your footsteps. They don't understand your inside bully. They don't understand your family bully. They don't understand the people that is bullying you, and that's been an escape for you to really escape into this field of popularity, to make folk think that you're somebody that you're not, and you're having what you're not having. I'm tired of seeing folk with their face, with their fake personas and their fake projection of themselves, lying about what's theirs when it's belongs to somebody else. I'm tired of us acting like taking the wrong picture. Take one picture, photo shoot it, and you see a whole other person. See the real person, and you almost scared. I'm like on boondocks. I'm like grandpa. I'm tired when I see the real person. I'm just nervous on this thing. I didn't like that picture you showed on that. And so all I'm trying to help you to say that the other bully you got to fight is the bully of popularity. Can I tell you how God helped Gideon fight the bully of popularity? God started Gideon off with 35,000 soldiers. They was going to war, 35,000 soldiers. And God says to Gideon, you such a mighty man of battle. You don't need all this.
What did he say? What did he tell him?
Gideon, he says to Gideon, I'm so strong and so much of what you need that you don't need all what you think you need. And you don't need all these people you think you need. There are some people that got some negative things that's going to help you, make you lose the battle if you don't get rid of them. Somebody in here. There are some friends that's going to make you lose your fight against your bully if you don't get rid of them. Because you know what some friends tell you to do. In order to cope with your bully, then you ought to drink some, you ought to smoke some, you ought to light some, you ought to lie down on something, you ought to give up something, you ought to do something. That's what your friends tell you how to handle your bully. But what God says, get rid of those fake friends, get rid of those prideful people, get rid of those people ain't really ready. Get rid of those people who's trying to get you to fight at a level that I don't want you to fight. I want you to fight. You don't need them. Matter of fact, he said, send all of them home. All 25,000. Let them go home. Left him with 35,000 men, left him with 10,000 men. And he said, when we get to the water, I want to get rid of some other friends because those never friends. I got rid of your fake friends. He said, I'm about to get rid of your friends that don't have any heart. And the problem is, some of us are running with friends that doesn't have heart. Come on. I grew up in the neighborhood. I grew up in Fifth Ward, and the truth of the matter is, if we were going to fight, we were going to fight with these. We were going to see who was the real man. But you got fake friends that don't want to fight right and fight fair. And what they're not telling you, if you pick that gun up, pick that God bless you.